What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy True Reacts, and today I'm going to be reacting to top 10 prison escapes caught on camera. So this should be really exciting, man. This should be really exciting. I love prison escapes or like prison movies or anything like that. I feel like it's very interesting. But man, I'm very excited to watch this video. So without further ado, man, let's get straight to this video. Oh, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe too.
Hi everyone. Criminals have been trying to escape prison since they were invented. In most cases, prison breaks fail, but this is not always the case. Thanks to these surveillance cameras in police stations and correctional facilities, you can not only read about another prison break in a newspaper, but also see it with your own eyes. In today's video, we'll show you the most incredible, daring and ridiculous prison breaks filmed on camera. Let's get it on. Prison break with a helicopter. Some prison breaks, especially the ones shown
that's my movie right there,
are so elaborate that it might blow your mind. Every detail is taken into consideration. Each step is carefully planned. In real life, though, not all prison escapes are that impressive. This footage shows prisoners Danny Provençal and Benjamin Houdon Barbeau desperately trying to climb a rope. The rope hanging from a hijacked helicopter that landed on the roof of a prison. Yeah, it's almost like in a James Bond movie. But what was supposed to be a quick prison break lasted almost 6 minutes, and the guards did not intervene. Did they want to see whether the convicts could pull it off? Well, actually, they simply didn't have weapons to fight armed criminals, so the guards chose not to risk it. And although the prisoners did manage to get out of prison, they, together with their accomplices, were arrested only a few hours later. The helicopter pilot was not injured. Bulldozer attack. In 1995, 12 prisoners escaped from Copenhagen prison. They didn't have to dig a tunnel or steal a helicopter, they used a bulldozer instead. The powerful construction machine rammed the fortified prison wall and completely destroyed it, and the convicted criminals rushed through the hole. Three of them were detained almost immediately, along with a camera operator. Law enforcement officers suspected that he knew about the bulldozer attack in advance.
Wow.
The police said that the prisoners tried to escape to see a football match that took place at a nearby stadium. That proves that even the prison walls can't hold you if you're a true fan of your team.
They were gone.
Detailed instructions. 3 prisoners in a California prison recorded their escape plan using a mobile phone, and then apparently also filmed a video about the details of their daring escape. The 15-minute carefully edited video includes the story of one of the alleged fugitives, who explains in detail how they pulled it off. He even makes a reference to Houdini and his famous escape tricks.
My name is Adam Hussein Nayeri. You know, a lot of people like to credit us with some Houdini escape act all in 8 minutes flat.
Prisoner Adam Hussein Nayeri said that they used strong rope, tools, clothes, shoes and other stuff to escape. To get out of the prison, Nayeri and others cut off the metal ventilation grill.
Oh, they smart.
Accessed the water supply system of the building, and then climbed out onto the roof. It is not clear how they later managed to get down and leave the prison, but the fugitives were hiding from the police for more than a week, until they were caught. Think fast, act fast. Sometimes for a successful escape, all you have to do is act as quickly and decisively as possible. This video was filmed in Porter County Prison, where the police transferred a prisoner named Michael Maldonado. On that day, he made several attempts to escape, but only the last one was successful. Officers asked prison staff to help them with the transfer, but there was no one available. Maldonado waited for the right moment to run out of the car, then rushed to the closing garage door, ducked under it and disappeared. It took some time to open the door, so the police officers couldn't start pursuing Maldonado right away. They claimed they repeatedly pressed the button and tried to open the door out on their own, but it all took time. While the officers were struggling with the door, Maldonado managed to escape, and even 2 hours of persistent searches for the dog later, the fugitive was nowhere to be found. But the criminal didn't enjoy freedom for long. The very next day, law enforcement officers found Maldonado and detained him. This time, they kept a close eye on him. Through the window. An escape through a window sounds easy enough, but it's not that easy when the window size is 30 by 76 centimeters. You shouldn't try that unless you were a cat or something. Derek Estelle was 34 years old and serving a sentence, this time for hijacking a car and starting a shootout with the police patrol. But it seems that he wasn't planning on staying in prison. He worked out an unusual escape plan with 2 accomplices. While one of them was distracting the policeman, Estelle bolted through the tiny window and took off. Prior to that, he'd been talking on the phone, but it must have been part of the plan as well. In just a few moments, he jumped out of the window, got into a car, and drove off in an unknown direction. It all happened so fast that none of the guards were fast enough to react. Estelle and his accomplice were immediately declared fugitives. Handcuffs. We tend to think,
bro, if I was ever in jail and I had an escape plan, I would not get caught. Like, I would not get caught, man. I would think of everything, man. They would not catch me. I swear they wouldn't catch me.
the only people who know how to get out of handcuffs are magicians and secret agents. You know, the same people who probably carry paper clips, lasers and a parachute with them wherever they go. However, this time we are talking about a woman called Amber Gonzalez. She was arrested for theft at a hotel and placed in a cell. Amber was left with a cell phone to arrange her bail, but she was focused more on her handcuffs rather than checking the text messages. She was wriggling and tugging at her cuffs so persistently that she actually managed to simply pull her hand out, though the officers later claimed the cuffs were too tight to be slipped off the hands. But Amber, who only weighs about 44 kilograms, didn't stop at that and left the police department quicker than anyone realised what was happening. She walked through the yards to a gas station where she met up with a truck driver, and the two drove back to the same hotel. That's where the police arrested her barely an hour after the escape.
Wow.
A daring escape. What does a man do after being detained and brought to the sheriff's office? He probably worries, calls his lawyer, or acts like a cool gangster. But this guy is different. A 17-year-old Quantrell D. Schwartzlow was arrested at school and placed in the interrogation room at once. But as soon as the police officer closed the door on his way out, the young man opened the window and jumped out.
Nigga hopped out of that bitch.
Gracefully too, almost like Scott Pilgrim.
Scott here?
You know what?
Despite falling for almost 4 meters straight, he wasn't hurt, got up and just ran away from the police department. 2 surveillance cameras caught his daring escape. The officer finally returned to the interrogation room 14 minutes later. We don't know what he'd been doing or why he left the suspect unattended for so long, but whatever the case, it turned out to be a big mistake. By the time the officer noticed Quantrell had disappeared, he was already way too far away.
Oh, no.
He was detained 3 hours later, though, at his friend's house, and since then, there are bars on the windows of the department. Mr. Fantastic. This is the second time we've mentioned a superhero in this video, but it's honestly hard to believe this guy's an ordinary human. This man, arrested for theft in Izbabash in the Republic of Dagestan, escaped from solitary confinement through the food delivery window. We've already seen escape through normal windows, but this is something beyond comprehension. To squeeze through this tiny opening, you need to be very thin, or just very, very flexible. The escape took place at night and was filmed on a surveillance camera. The footage shows the naked young man squeezing through the narrow window, slowly and quite carefully. Had he been practicing this escape? How would the guards have reacted if they'd been in the hallway at that moment? Would he be able to get back inside just as quickly? So many questions. After pushing his way through the tiny opening, the young man calmly pulled his stuff out, put his clothes on, and went down the hallway, and left the solitary cell. Nobody stopped him. Maybe he even found another window to freedom on his way, and used that.
I know that had to hurt.
Which Hollywood-worthy movie scenario have we not mentioned yet? Ah yes, escape by cross-dressing. A Brazilian gang member called Plovino da Silva tried to escape from prison by disguising himself as his own daughter. One would think that it's hard to mistake a 42-year-old criminal for his 19-year-old daughter, but da Silva got pretty creative. He put on a silicone mask, a wig and his daughter's clothes, a pink shirt with a donut print and skinny jeans. The whole disguise was supposed to be his ticket to freedom. As the prison workers believed, his daughter was supposed to remain in his cell. Can you imagine that? You come to visit your father and end up behind the bars. Despite all of his careful planning, guards were unconvinced by his disguise, and yes, De Silva had to go back to his cell. The guards documented every detail of his dress-up too, and you've got to admit that he was indeed thorough in his planning. The criminal's daughter and his 7 other recent visitors were questioned. De Silva obviously needed help to pull off an escape like that. By the way, cross-dressing was not De Silva's first escape attempt either. Earlier, he had broken out through the sewers with 30 other prisoners, but was also caught back then.
Bro, y'all can't get caught,
Are you looking
bro.
for new technologies and great gadgets? Are your thoughts focused on the future? Do you love huge vehicles and can't imagine your life without robots around you? Then
I think that's the end of, well, yeah, that's the end of the video, man. Oh my God, that was some crazy escapes. Like this one guy, like y'all just saw, he escaped out a little tiny little mailbox, not mailbox, but the little mail thing in the prison cell. Oh my God, like, I know that had to hurt. I know that had to hurt. He had to squeeze through that little small little hole. I'm surprised he didn't break anything. That's so crazy. That's so crazy, man. If I ever tried to escape, man, I would not get caught, man. I would not get caught. Like, I don't know if y'all didn't see this movie, but it's called Shawshank Redemption. Man, Andy, he escaped the smart way, and that would have been me. I would have thought everything, and I would have did it. I would have escaped. I would have been gone to like Mexico or somewhere. But hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.